Wow, look at all those trucks. Wow, look at that wing. That's like a huge wing. 1 mile. 1 mile. Right there, made in Japan. Hey YouTube, how's everyone doing? Yakfish Taco here. Long time no see. Another beautiful winter day, another car video. So I bought another new car for you to review. I think this is going to be the very last car I will buy for the next, say, 10 years. Because, you know, nowadays all the cars are going hybrid or electric. I still yet to warm up to those ideas. So this is a genuine internal combustion engine vehicle, naturally aspirated, and that's why I bought it. Let's see what it is. It's a Toyota Corolla Hatchback. It's a hot hatch. Well, to me it's hot hatch because it's got enough power for the size, and it's also got good gas mileage, 32 city, 41 highway. See, that is like in the hybrid territory without going hybrid. It's metallic gray color. It's got 16-inch Yokohama all-season tires. It's got this low profile, almost like a body kit on the side, which I like. Got to give it a little sporty look to it. And it's got an upgrade premium package. I'll talk about the package that adds the sort of a color key mirror to it, and also a turn signal indicators on the mirror. And it has a what they call an aerodynamic rear spoiler. Now this thing is an extra. It's a $389 add-on onto the original factory flush sort of a spoiler, low profile spoiler. You can see the real tail light is on the original spoiler. So this is a add-on. Now this is one of the things that I don't like about this vehicle, which I will talk about. This is an add-on that I did not want, but it came with a vehicle. There's several things that came with a vehicle that I did not want, but I have no choice because this vehicle is super hard to locate and find. I waited about 3 weeks for the dealer to have this vehicle delivered from Japan. Yeah, that's right. The hatchback model is one of the very few Toyota vehicles that are still made in Japan and shipped to the US, which I really like that. It really kind of gives me that confidence of quality. Base MSRP is just under $2,400. This one added a premium package and also this wing right here and a blackout option where it blacked out those emblems. So it adds on to about maybe $1,500 of options, which I did not want, but that's how it's being delivered. Because the vehicle is so hard to find, I have no choice, right? So I have to stick with this wing. Like, let me know what you think, if this wing is going to increase or reduce my gas mileage in the comment below. I pay just over $25,000 for this vehicle. Let's take a look at the interior. First thing, you see that? Made in Japan. If people that are into JDM kind of stuff, this is sort of the JDM car. The entire thing is made in Japan. All black interior. Let's get in here. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right, I love this. All right, so first thing is this window. On the window, the side door is actually lower than the dash, so give me a lot of visibility on the side. I felt like I'm riding in a bubble if I'm looking out to the right and left. Now, very good visibility overall. The back side, a little bit obstructed by those seats head rest, but it's not bad. So on the passenger side, the seats are not adjustable. There's no height adjustment. But on the driver's side, there's height adjustment. The steering wheel does tilt and move up, forth, and back. The interior is pretty nicely appointed. You have sort of the piano glossy panels on the door controls, and also you have the same piano black on the dash, on the side of the flat screen, and also on the shift knobs. I like how there is soft sort of a faux leather with stitchings on the side, so you rest your hands here very comfortably. And then over here is pretty soft too. It's kind of like a soft plastic. Now this is hard. Now this is soft. Soft. And then you have sort of a faux leather with stitching, facing the passenger and the driver, and it's soft. And really nice leather wrap steering wheel with nice black stitchings. Very similar to the Camry and the RAV4. You have sort of the steering wheel mounted controls. Very easy to use, very intuitive. 8-inch infotainment system, very clear, very nice. It's Apple CarPlay standard. I think right now I'm on video, so that's why it's not connected right now. But you have very nice gauge clusters where you'll have sort of electronic display in the middle, the RPM on the left, and then the speedometer on the right. But you do have a digital readout as well. Of course, you have the lane keep assist, and you have the adaptive cruise control. Coming in the back seat. Okay, so looking at the leg rooms, this hatchback actually has less leg room than the sedan version. But sitting behind myself under 5'7", you can see I still have plenty of leg rooms in front of me. So as long as you are not a tall person, sitting behind yourself still is comfortable. Dual USB ports for the people in the back seats, and 2 cup holders from the armrest in the middle. So this engine is 2-liter, producing 169 horsepower and 152 pound-feet of torque. It's plenty powerful for a small vehicle that weighs just under 3,000 pounds. And it gives you great gas mileage, 32 in the city, 41 on the highway. Now, the only thing I don't like, but now is pretty much common on modern engine, is that you have all aluminum heads, all aluminum blocks, but you have a plastic valve cover. Now on some other vehicles, such as the Honda Civic, they reportedly have leakage coming out of the seals. Toyota have not have such problems, but we'll see. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but I doubt it's gonna have any issues on that. So having dual injection, you have sort of the both benefits of fuel efficiency and also intake valve cleaning from the benefit of port injecting fuel onto the valve covers. The only thing I have concern about this engine is 0W8. 0W8. I was just talking about 0W16. Is it too thin for my 2023 RAV4? Now it gone even thinner, 0W8, because this engine is also used in the hybrid. I think the Prius also uses this engine as well, the 2-liter engine. I will bet my life on the next generation of Corolla is going to be all hybrids. There's not going to be options for gasoline engine anymore in the future. So kind of how the world has turned. In the past, you have mostly gasoline models and you have options for hybrids, but in the future probably it's all going to be hybrids. So that's another reason that I bought this vehicle right now. And the engine's made it to a CVT transmission. When we hear about CVT, we all dread about the whiny noise, the spongy feel to it. But this CVT has a genuine first gear automatic transmission to get the vehicle rolling, and then it will switch into the sort of the CVT mode. So that first gear will give you better, more solid acceleration, and also it will prolong the life of the CVT, because CVT warns out mostly at its starting, you know, the acceleration, because the power goes into it. It takes time, right? It takes, you know, a lot of friction and heat. But when you have a first gear, that's a real gear, it will save a lot of wear and tear, you know, every time when you're, you know, going from zero to into acceleration. All right, so now the trunk, so this trunk privacy cover is removable by just hanging or unhanging this little string. So not sure how this thing's gonna last, but for the meantime it works. So if you remove this, this thing comes out and you have a lot more cargo space. Now other hatchback has the option of what they call enhanced cargo space arrangement, which will not have the donuts like this one. So this one do have a donuts spare tire. You can see this thing is completely flat. Completely flat. Look. Completely flat. How's that, huh? I can just pop this thing off. Voila! Look at that, huh? Look at that. A lot of space. Of course, for an outdoor person like me, I would like to camp in any kind of car. So this car actually allow me to do a short, you know, overnighter camping. So let me show you. And look, with the front seat pushed out all the way, and I have a sleeping board that I use on my RAV4. It's a 70-inch long, I think about 18 inches wide, which is enough for me to just lay down straight. And I just put some padding on it, and it's good for a sort of a short camping, a one-nighter, and still have room here for all my other gears. Ta-da! What do you think, huh? Fishing rod, sleeping bag, little sleeping mat. What else do you need? Maybe some cooler, extra clothing, all right, some beer or beverage. That's enough space for a little short weekend, I don't know, fun out on, you know, by the coast, by the bay, the river, the lake. You know, for 40 some miles per gallon, you know, that's a pretty economic trip anywhere you want to go. Well, of course, I'm gonna have my truck for some heavy duty, say overlanding or off-roading into the woods, into the mountain, so that the camping trip, and also towing my boat, you know, going off-road, going onto the beach, you know, sand dune, all that stuff, right? That's what that is for. But everything else I can relegate to my little Corolla. And my bike fits in here perfectly, no problem. So camping, fishing, biking, hiking, everything, right? I mean, anything that I don't need the truck for, this thing can do. It's definitely a fun little vehicle to drive around. Powerful, efficient. So I'm gonna get in this vehicle tomorrow. I'm gonna go on a little trip, a 500 miles round trip, and give you some reviews, some little driving perspective, and also gas mileage reports. So let's go hit it tomorrow. Let's go. Well, today is a little rainy, but I'm gonna head out to Central Oregon where it's sunny and do a little bit of fishing. And it's gonna be a 400 miles round trip. So I got my camping stuff set up in the Corolla. And yeah, I'm gonna ready for some fun and maybe give you some road trip, review, like the fuel economy and how it feels on the highway and all that stuff. So let's go. And get to see how this car perform in the rain, right? So my first driving impression of this vehicle is just how nimble it is compared to my other vehicles that I've owned in the past. Like I have Forester, Pilot, the RAV4, and Tacoma. All those vehicles compared to this one, they're all big. This is so nimble. I can get into spots, parking spots, no problem. I mean, it just feel like really, in a sense, a little liberating in a sense, just kind of be able to just park in a tiny spot. But also the vehicle is really well planted on the ground. I mean, the four-wheel independent suspension kind of give me that soft, but very soft but also stable feeling. I don't really feel a lot of bumps and potholes, but also it gives me that kind of firmness, a little bit of sportiness. Like see right now, just like doing the cornering. So like in this kind of cornering, it's very confidence. I mean, it gives me that confidence that the suspension really doing its work. It's really well planted, even it's two-wheel drive. But it did not give me the sense that this thing is gonna wobble all over the road. It's bouncing all around. It has that really stable feel to it. The other thing surprising is that although it has 169 horsepower, I don't get the impression of this vehicle feels really powerful. I think it's because how the CVT transmission is tuned to sort of give you that maximum gas mileage, and then so it feels a little bit numb, the throttle. But if you put this vehicle on a sports drive mode like what I'm doing right now, the RPM will jump about 1000 RPM. Now this will give you a very spirited driving experience, I think. And also in this kind of windy road right now, that sports mode, especially on the downhill, it will give you a more spirited driving, and also the necessary downhill like engine braking when you let off the gas pedal. So it will definitely give you more confidence when you're driving in windy downhill mountain roads like what I'm doing right now. But on the daily driving, definitely the normal mode will give you the most comfortable ride. But the power is actually definitely there. You just have to harness it by either going into sports mode, or you just kind of just floor it. But it's good to know that this vehicle has that kind of power, but it's just not manifesting itself on the regular driving, coasting kind of situation. This vehicle is just so smooth to drive. The road noise is actually not too bad. I was having doubts about like having a small car like this. The road noise might be a little bit more loud, but actually it's not too bad. Maybe it's just because I'm used to a vehicle that's loud, because I think the Tacoma is pretty loud, the RAV4 is not exceptionally quiet either, so maybe I'm just used to it. Maybe if you coming from a vehicle that's like a Tesla or Model X, coming into this car, maybe it's very different. It's rainy, the road is wet. I'm doing about 55, 60 in this kind of mountain windy road, but still it's very, very well planted and give me that confidence. Alright, so I just came out of driving in some heavy torrential rain back there on the freeway. And I've noticed that in heavy rain, this vehicle actually tends to hydroplane a lot easier than say bigger and heavier vehicle. I'm not sure if it's the tire or just the vehicle being so light. It's easier to hydroplane, so you really have to pay attention. Now, even though the traction control is gonna kick in and try to save your butt, but you need to be careful. When you feel like hydroplaning, just make sure you hold on to the steering wheel and do your thing. Don't hit the brake and let the car work on its own. And then maybe reduce the throttle, reduce the gas input, but make sure you keep on steering straight and then let the traction control do the job. Now the vehicle actually rides in pretty low engine speed most of the time. When at coasting mode, from anywhere from 60 to 75, the engine speed varies from about 1300 RPM to about top to about like 2000 RPM. But when you do a little bit acceleration, it was gonna shoot up to about 25, 27, 3000 RPM. So the CVT actually do a really good job sort of managing the power, managing that power band, give you sort of the best, the most efficient power input for whatever condition you're in. The other thing worth mentioning is how stable this vehicle is at high speed. Sometimes I get to about like 80 miles and I'm not even knowing it because it did not feel like I'm at 80 miles. It felt like I'm at 60 miles. It's just how well the suspension is being calibrated, you know, to make the car feels really well planted and stable at high speed. And also the power, you know, it does not feel like I have to like push hard to get to that high speed. You know, the power is always there to provide that push, you know, to get to the next, you know, 70, 75, 80. You know, it's just that 2-liter engine is actually plenty powerful for this vehicle. Alright, so I've done just over 300 miles, coming all the way to Central Washington for some fishing. So right now it's 29 degrees outside and the road is frosty and foggy. So I haven't been doing much filming lately, you know, during the night because it's a little dicey, you know, literally. But I did get to 40.3 mpg for the entire trip. Now, the first 150 miles, it was on I-84 on the freeway, and I was doing kind of fast. I mean, actually the vehicle wants to go fast because it has so much power for this tiny thing. And I was like going up like 70, 75, sometimes even like almost 80. And then my gas mileage suffered, and it was like 33 most of the way. And then I got about 7 miles of headwind, and then also it was rainy, the road was not too good. But when I get to the sort of the country road at the highways, and when my speed kept at 55, 60, it just shoots up like amazing. So the speed really impact the gas mileage in this vehicle. So I think on those miles on the highways, I was probably getting about 45 to average to this 40 mpg. So yeah, this vehicle is definitely a really good vehicle. If you live in a city, you don't have a lot of people that you ride with every day, or if you do like Uber Eats, DoorDash, you know, things like that, run around town, you don't have to haul stuff, a lot of big stuff, heavy stuff. You don't need to tow, you don't need to go off-road, or, you know, drive on the snow a lot. I think this vehicle will handle pretty much everything else. And also, given like if you're not exceptionally tall, like a tall person, right, over 6'4" or something like that, but anything average size person, this vehicle will hold just fine. I will be doing a 1,000 mile break-in period oil change for this vehicle. So also check back on that as well. Now, one thing I have to mention is that it's hard for me to stay on the same speed all the way because I was not using cruise control. So during the break-in period, I'm not using cruise control, so it's hard for me to control the speed. That's why the gas mileage suffer as well. So once the car is breaking in, got the new oil change, I can use cruise control. I will do another real life, MPG test on this vehicle. So stay tuned as well. All right. Thank you for following along, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.